Hello, my name is Stephen Tom, and this is my presentation on dual enrollment in American high schools. Um, so a quick overview of dual enrollment. Um, Dual enrollment is a program or a policy that allows high school students to take college classes while still in high school, hence the name dual enrollment. So they would be taking their normal high school classes, and at the same time, they would also take college classes, normally maybe at a community college or maybe some other four-year schools would offer the surrounding high schools different college classes that they could take if they choose to. Now, this isn't there's no like formal federal mandate for dual enrollment in high schools, but there are plenty of state and district level ruling for dual enrollment. But however, because it's from a state and district basis, some states and districts might have um, a limited amount of dual enrollment opportunities because of a lack of funding. So the policy began around the 1950s. And this time period of the 1950s and 1970s was just trying to figure out the dual enrollment system, and it was intended for high achieving students around the University of Connecticut. But then as it expanded more into the 80s and 90s, they started to create formal policies for dual enrollments across different states and different districts around the country. Um, and this leads to around the 20 or the 2000s to the present, where there's formal state-funded dual enrollment programs that are popping up around the country. Um, and now, although initially, when they first started dual enrollment, it was intended for high performing students. Now it is actually aimed to include underrepresented students and to give them more of an opportunity, which we'll touch on later during the equity slide. Um, so to connect this to adolescent development, there are a couple things that help with it. It helps with their improvement of college readiness. They're in high school and they're taking college classes, so it would obviously help them feel more prepared for the college course load. And I think even a big thing is them using the college interface, like them using Canvas, because normally high school you would use like Google Classroom, and then it's a different layout for how a class is structured. So I think that by doing that in high school, it helps them feel more ready to pursue a higher education in college. That also helps with higher rates of college enrollments, persistence, and also studies show that students who dual enroll have a higher chance at getting higher wages too. Um, so this was in one of the articles that we were reading, or that I was reading, that students who dual enroll have a higher chance at reaping these rewards that are stated here. So they actually do help a lot with these adolescents who are dual enrolling. Yeah, and then another thing is that it also helps with their college credits and cost savings. So oftentimes, since these dual enrollments are, or these dual enrollment programs are part of or like funded by the state or district. Oftentimes these courses come at a reduced cost or even no cost at all, which really saves these students money after they graduate and they start taking college classes. It's just less classes that they have to pay for. So it really helps with that cost savings. Um, and one thing it also helps with is the course offering too. It helps a lot with offering classes that might not be offered at their local high school. So it really helps them kind of expand their scope of education and see what else these schools have to offer too. So for equity, um, I think that, or it shows that I can, or dual enrollment provides these benefits to students regardless of race or socioeconomic status. It actually shows that the dual enrollment returns for low income students are slightly higher than wealthier students. And that's because in the early 2000s, they started to implement more of a inclusive policy that includes all students, regardless of race, regardless of income, to be able to take these programs. So it actually is in effect to um, help create a more level playing field among students, regardless of how much money their parents might make. Um, But however, there's always a bit of underrepresentation. There's certainly underrepresentation in minorities, students with disabilities, and English learners. Just like everywhere else in education, those groups are commonly misrepresented. So yeah, and this leads to our last point. Dual enrollment options are less prevalent in low-income schools. I mean, I kind of touched on this a little bit, but this is mainly due to a lack of funding and lack of resources that may be available because of, just a lack of economic resources in their district. So lastly, my perspective. I think this is a very good policy and it's very healthy for adolescent development. It is a very good pathway for readiness in college courses. Like I touched on before, it really helps them feel more prepared for college classes and higher education. I think that it also helps a lot with underrepresented students. I think that college could be very intimidating for a student who may be a first gen. So this would really help them kind of ease into the college transition and to feel more comfortable and confident going into maybe higher education. So yeah, and then it also helps them broaden their perspective on education. I think in high school, you might be so locked in what you're doing there and prepping for college that you forget that you're actually there to learn. And I think that these college courses really help you to realize, hey, there's actually things that a college might offer that I might really enjoy learning. So I think that helps a lot. Um, I think one negative thing is that it might put a lot of academic pressure. It might feel overwhelming for a college or for a high school student to look at these classes. They might think, "Oh, wow, this is kind of intense." It might be overwhelming. It might affect their mental health. So I think that's something that I might be cautious about. Um, yeah, but as far as the policy goes, it is pretty refined. It's been there for many, many years. And I don't think there is a lot of things I would consider changing. Overall, I think it's a very good policy for these students, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. So thank you. This is my references.